Welcome back, Sebastian. Here at time for my review for the Formula 2 feature race for Belgium. Pretty exciting race, some good battling through the field, and definitely a lot more laps than we had in the F3 feature race earlier today. So I started with Aaron on pole, Bortolato P2, a dry track which is obviously very different from the conditions yesterday in the sprint race. Opening lap, Behrman and Marti come together at turn 1. Colapinto also very slow, falling through the field. We have a safety car because of the collision of Behrman and Marti, and based on the replay, it looks like Behrman just goes way too aggressive and just cuts too far to the outside, because obviously at the inside of the source it's not the optimal place to be, so it makes sense to do it but Behrman just goes too aggressive, cuts too much towards the outside, hits Maloney, which then kind of spins him into Marti, and then the two of them end up going off. Hadjar also up to P2 with a nice overtake at Lecombe. Safety car ends lap 3, and Aaron and Antonelli were under investigation at this point for some kind of technical infringement. No idea what that infringement is. We'll see if it affects things after the race. Unfortunately for one of those drivers, it won't really make much difference. But we'll get to that later. Lap 4, Martins crashes at the Brussels hairpin, and the safety car comes out for that. We find out Villagomez also out as well, and what has happened was that Barnard had basically pushed Villagomez to basically the exit of the track. He loses control of the car, ends up spinning into the middle of the track, clips Martins, and Martins goes into the barriers there. So unfortunately not much that Martins could have done there, and again, really unfortunate for him, as his season's basically never really going. Lap 6, Stanek decides to pit from hards to softs. I think he was forced to pit again a bit later, but yeah, a bit of an interesting strategy there. Safety car ends lap 6. Lap 7, Hauger pits as well. Stanek then overtaking Miata on those new soft tires up to P15. Well, Sullivan tries to overtake Antonelli as well at Lecombe. Antonelli on the alternative strategy, starting on the medium tire. Again, a bit slow with tire warm-up on those harder tires. Lap 8, Hadjar overtakes Aaron at Lecombe for P1, takes the lead of the race there. Aaron decides, okay, tires are gone, let's pit for new tires, pits that lap. Rochor then overtakes Crawford for P3 at Lecombe. At this point, soft-tired runners, tires were quite worn, so a lot of them changing over to the medium tires, and definitely benefited a bit from those laps behind the safety car, as it allowed them to extend that stint on the soft tire, which I think, based on what we saw towards the end of the race, was definitely not the optimal tire to be on. Let's see, lap 9, Hadjar pits as well, and he comes out just in front of Aaron. Lap 10, Bortolato pits and comes out in a virtual P3. Lap 11, Aaron overtakes Hadjar for virtual P1 at Lecombe, so Aaron retakes the lead that he lost just before he had pitted for the new tires. These tires also take a couple laps to get up to temperature, so it makes sense that Aaron, who had pitted a lap earlier, would be able to build up that tire temperature a bit earlier and get the grip and overtake Hadjar. Fittipaldi then, really unfortunate for him, he retires in the pits. Looks like the car just stalled, and then they couldn't get the car going again. So again, really unfortunate for the Brazilian driver. Lap 12, the gap between Rochor, who is now in first, the lead driver on the medium tire strategy, and Aaron, the lead driver on basically the normal strategy. 24 seconds, which is basically about the length of a pit stop. Of course, Rochor would have to make the tires last for quite a few more laps. Lap 13, Hadjar then retakes the lead, overtakes Aaron on track for a virtual P1 at Lecombe. So good to see some back and forth action and overtaking for the lead. Definitely not that common. That happens more than once. Usually you'll just see the one move for the lead and that to that. But here, the fact that we have the lead change between these two drivers multiple times, definitely pretty interesting. Lap 14, Maloney overtakes Hauger at Lecombe for virtual P6. Cordial also really quick in the sister high tech to Aaron's high tech, of course, and gaining on Rochor as well. Lap 15, Miney pits for soft tires. Lap 15, Durskin overtakes Hauger for P12 at Lecombe. Hauger really struggling with pace in the second half of the race. Durskin then dips a wheel as well, but unfortunately, fortunately for him, manages to stay in control and not lose the car, sending it into the wall or something. Lap 16, Antonelli pits, really slow stop, unfortunate for him. Looks like he just kind of missed his marks in the pit box, and as a result, the front jackman kind of got pushed back quite a bit. So definitely took a bit of a delay to get the car up onto the front jacks, and that cost Antonelli like 5 to 6 seconds. He comes out behind Cordial, and he had been basically right behind Rasher before that. So yeah, unfortunate for Antonelli there. But again, it looked like a bit of a mistake. Could have just been a technical issue, but again, from the outside, that's what it looked like. Yeah, so Antonelli at this point, 13th. I think he also dropped a position to Miata right after. So again, coming out of the pits, Antonelli down in 14th. Lap 17, Bortoleto overtakes Aaron for P2. Antonelli then overtakes Cordial at Lacombe for P13. Antonelli then overtakes Hauger for P12. So again, at the early stage of the of the stint on the soft tire, a lot of pace, and able to overtake cars pretty easily. But as we'll see, that pace would not really last. Antonelli and Cordial then both overtake Durskin for P9 and P10 respectively. Lap 20, Crawford catching Aaron as well. So despite Aaron's exploits in qualifying this season, hasn't won a race yet, and definitely I think still struggling a little bit with tire wear. Lap 21, Stanek overtakes Stanek and Miney under investigation for track limits, and then they were both given 5-second penalties for that. Lap 22, Antonelli under pressure from Cordial, Rasher as well, who are kind of the lead driver on the alternative strategy, lining up a move on Maloney, and eventually overtakes him at Lacombe for P6. Cordial then overtakes Antonelli, a bit surprising there, but it seems like Antonelli just couldn't keep the pace up on the softer tires, which is wearing the tires out too fast. And that was for P9 at Lacombe. Lap 24, Hauger's under pressure from Correa down for P12. And then I think at this point, Antonelli was under massive pressure from Durskin. Looked like he was going to be, I think actually he was overtaken by Durskin for P10 at this point. So Antonelli falling out of the points. But then final lap, big drama and also big championship implications as well. For whatever reason, Aaron's car looks like it has some kind of mechanical issue, and he just starts slowing down on the Kemmel straight on that final lap. And given that he was running in a podium position, that's obviously a big swing in the points championship wise. So Hadjar takes the checkered flag. He's now in pretty much a dominant position championship wise. Bortoleto joins him P2 on the podium, and then Crawford picks up the pieces of Antonelli's DNF, come home third. 4th O'Sullivan, 5th for sure, 6th Maloney, 7th Miata, good result from him. 8th Cordial, 9th Antonelli, 10th Durskin, 11th Correa, 12th Hauger, 13th Barnard, 14th Stanek, 15th Miney, 16th Aaron. Again, I think he would have been in DNF, but because of the 90% rule, I think he's still classified, which is why I voted him in blue. 6 DNFs, Fittipaldi, Colapinto, Martins, Villagomez, Berman, and Marti. So quite a few DNFs today. Definitely some drivers taking advantage of that, like Miata and Cordial, for example, drivers who usually don't get big points finishes. Hadjar now 165 points on top of the championship standings. Let's see, that's 37 I believe, if I can do math. I don't think I can do math. 37 points ahead of Bortoleto on 128. Aaron now drops to third, 124. Maloney, 111 in fourth. 5th, Crawford, 100 points. 6th, Colapinto, 95. 7th, Antonelli, 87. 8th, Hauger, 83. 9th, Miney, 74. 10th, O'Sullivan, 59. 11th, Fittipaldi, 58. 12th, Martins, 57. 13th, for sure, 45. 14th, Marty, 38. 15th, Berman, 34. Really rough season for him. It'll be interesting to see, what Haas think of their driver, their rookie that they've hired, being so far down the F2 standings. Again, I haven't seen anything that would suggest that his seat with Haas and F1 next year would be at risk. But again, you never know with these kinds of things. 16th, Correa, 31. 17th, Cordial, 29. 18th, Miata, 29. 19th, Durskin, 24. 20th, Barnard, 18. 21st, Stanek, 14. And 22nd, Villagomez in 9th. So again, Hadjar, Bortoleto, both drivers at the top of the championship standings. For Red Bull, it'll be interesting to see what they do with Hadjar. They already had a logjam of drivers as it is, with Lawson kind of being on the outside looking in, and now Hadjar, really good chance that he wins the F2 championship. with that 37-point lead with, I guess, only 3 rounds remaining. We have Monza, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi, the season finale. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back later tonight with a review of the F1 of the Belgian Grand Prix. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.